Hey everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Mount Deurklink. Now, for the people who don't know, Mount Deurklink is a park which I have been working on several years ago, and it was actually released before the new save file format of OpenRCT2 was there. So in the meantime, lots of new functionalities have been added to the game. So I thought it would be fun to give the park a little upgrade. Alright, first off, cheats are stored in the save file now. So the cheats that are enabled when you save the game, they will stay enabled. So we're going to enable a few cheats which I used to always have to set manually. So I'm just going to disable brakes failure. Let's disable all breakdowns. And then over here, I'm just going to change the weather to sunny. Later on when I finish, I will set it to snowy weather again. Now there's lots of flowers which cannot be reached by handyman, so I'm also going to disable plant withering, and let's also water them. And let's also fix any vandalism which may have occurred. And I'm also going to disable vandalism in the park, if I can find it. Alright. And I think that should be it for cheats for now. I also want to redo some of the rides in this video, and when I do those, I will just enable the applicable cheats. Okay, there's something else which I want to do. Over here in scenario options, something which I noticed is that the guest initial happiness is very low, and they start out really hungry and really thirsty. Now I often have this as default in scenarios to prevent overcrowding, but in this case, the park is already pretty much a finished park, so then it will be nice to just have as many guests as possible in the park. So I'm just going to raise the initial happiness of guests that are entering the park to the maximum, and I'll lower the initial hunger and thirst of the guests. Okay, I won't really have to change anything else here, and this should make the guests that enter the park stay a little bit longer. Okay, something else which has changed since we have the new save file format is that previously, there was just a limit on the amount of objects you could have selected in the park. So you had to carefully choose which objects you wanted to use in the park. But that limit is now much higher. So for all of these sets, and some of the other Rollercoaster Tycoon 2 sets, I will just enable all these objects now. Alright, that will make it a little bit easier for me to work in the park and to add nice things, because we now have everything available. Okay, the first ride that I want to give an upgrade is this hybrid coaster. Now, this coaster still uses the articulated wooden coaster trains. I want to change those out for the trains that the hybrid coaster actually has gotten in OpenRCT2. And other than that, I see some of these barrel rolls here. And I think they will look nicer if we use the new 0G roll element for these. So I'm going to do a few small upgrades here to the track and the vehicles. Alright, the track has now been modified in several places, so these barrel rolls have been replaced with these 0G rolls. I think it makes the track flow much nicer. And it also seems the trains still have a really decent speed through these elements. So that should make the track much nicer to look at. I think that's a really nice upgrade for this ride. So let's open it, and then we can move on to the next ride. Okay, the hybrid coaster is not the only coaster type that has gotten an upgrade. The Giga coaster now also has lots of new track elements, including these track elements that were spliced in between here using this P&M coaster track. So we could easily switch these elements out. What I'm going to do instead is just also modify the track a bit so we can use the large 0G rolls over here. And I think with that we can make this Norwegian loop here look much nicer. Alright, it took a lot of messing around, but I've redone this track layout. So as you can see here, we no longer have this limb launch coaster track. Let me see if I can move this track behind these, or these supports behind the track, like so. That already makes it a bit nicer. And over here I also got rid of the B&M track. As you can see, I also changed the shape of this track. So previously it was more of a big circle, and now it's more of a pretzel. And the pretzel now wraps tightly around this chairlift here. Now from this angle it may look a little bit tight, but if you look from the other angle you can see that there's enough space for these chairlift vehicles to not collide with any of these vehicles. Now over here I also changed the shape of the track a bit, and now over here we have this 0G roll, and here we have another one of these 0G rolls, and then here it goes under the bridge here. Now it may look like a head chopper here, but this is actually a support that's a little bit more to the background. Yeah, I'm super happy with how this track layout looks now, and as you can see I also put these new trains on it that are normally for the LSM launch roller coaster, but I think they also look nice on this track. So with that we can now open this ride to the guests. Okay, over here we have this pair of mini golf tracks, and behind them there's a strip of unused land. And I think a ride that we could easily fit here is one of those disco coasters. So yeah, let's quickly build one of them. Alright, the disco coaster is now completed. I decided to name it Avalanche. Pretty generic name for a snowy environment, I think. But yeah, I think with that we make great use of the narrow strip of land that we have here next to the mini golf. Now as for the station, I decided to just use the same style as we used for the tower over here, so they would fit together nicely, and it also provides a nice backdrop here for the guests who are on the mini golf track. Okay, I noticed a small bug over here, or a small visual glitch. Here you can see this railroad track. Now, and it looks kind of weird here, and that's because there's actually also some path on the same tile, which is invisible. And the path is used here to make these snowballs jump around on it. But yeah, I want the railroad track to look normal here. So I can easily fix that by just moving the footpath that's on this tile under surface. So the snowballs should still be jumping around here, but the railway will again look normal. Okay, we have a few rides where vehicles travel through the snow. One of them is this dinghy slide over here. And I think it will be fun if it actually looks like these vehicles actually make a trail through the snow. And another ride where vehicles travel through the snow is here for these husky tours. So for that, what I want to do is actually put some of this mine train coaster track, but having only the rails visible. And that should make it look like these vehicles actually make a trail through the snow. Let's give it a go. Okay, I think these tracks here look pretty nice. I also put some tracks in other directions where supposedly these dinghy slides may have veered off. And now I'm going to do the same for this Husky Tours ride. Alright, the Husky Tours ride now also has lots of trails here, and I also tried to make a few splits here, or just some tracks, once again just to make it look a little bit more interesting. Like sometimes they choose a route that's a little bit differently, or sometimes they may veer off the track a little bit. And over here in this area where you can see some of these huskies resting, these tracks are all over the place. Just another little bit of detail here. Alright, there's still a few spots in the park where we could fit another flat ride. And right next to this river rapids here is another one of these spots. Some nice prime real estate. And I think this spot over here is perfect for one of them swing rides. Alright, we now have a nice swing ride next to this river rapids building. Now, I think it looks quite nice here next to this big coaster, and we can see lots of guests heading for it. I think it's a great way to fill up this piece of ground here. Now, I think we can fit another small ride over here, right next to this dinghy slide, or this snow slide. Now, instead of showing you the whole process, I think we can just immediately skip to the finished product. Alright, and here we now have another little flat ride here on the top of the hill. Yeah, it's one of those magic bikes rides from Samperla, and yeah, this one's snowman themed. You can actually find a tutorial on my YouTube channel or on my website on how to make one of these if you want to make one of those for yourself. Alright, with these changes we have now modernized the park a little bit without changing too much of its character. It's of course still a park that was built several years ago. Now, the last thing that I want to do in this park is give all my new patrons an opportunity to be featured in this park. So right now I'm gonna give all my patrons a spot in the park as an entertainer if they haven't been placed in the park yet. Alright, all my patrons have now been included in the park as an entertainer. There's quite a few of you, so I'm not going to show all the locations. You can download Mount Deurklink from my website. You can find a link in the video description. And yeah, there you can check out your spot in the park. Now, I've also added some new stuff in the park, like this little stage here where we also have several entertainers performing a show. So yeah, be sure to check it out. And of course, thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. It's really appreciated. And if you're in the mechanic tier and you want a different color for your entertainer, just write me a little message and we'll make it happen. Alright, let's end this video with a quick little recap of what we did in this park. I changed the vehicle type on this hybrid coaster, and I changed the flat barrel rolls for 0G rolls, which I think makes this layout look much nicer. For the accelerator coaster, I changed the vehicle type to the modern twisted trains, and I switched these inversions for different ones. Which come with the new Giga Coaster track. I added a new disco coaster behind the mini golf track. I added some trails under this snow slide, and I also added a new Magic Bikes ride next to it. I added a new swing ride next to the river rapids and the monster trucks. I added some snow trails under the Husky Tours track. And I added a ton of my patrons to the park as an entertainer, and I created this little concert stage here. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. You can download Mount Deurklink from my website, the link is in the video description. And then simply go to the showcase parks, and there you should be able to find it. If you enjoyed watching me build, please like this video, it would really help out my channel. I would love to hear in the comments what you think of Mount Deurklink. And if you want to see more videos like these, you can always subscribe to my channel. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.